Matt, just can you sum up your emotions for me over the last 24 hours and possibly take us through the events as well, what occurred yesterday?
Obviously, it's been a really tough, ended up being a good 24 hours, but a real sad 24 hours speaking personally. Obviously got the news yesterday about Paul leaving, and there were a lot of devastation in the dressing room. It sounds like it's far-fetched, but you know Paul, most people know Paul. Forget about being a football manager, he's an unbelievable guy, and players were close to him. So the fact that we had to kind of try and pick the players up moving into obviously this game today was tough. Personally then obviously I brought Bradley Johnson and Jake Buxton with me today to help myself and Andy Warrington out. So getting them up to speed with the game plan's been tough. But what has been enjoyable this week that I think we haven't had the luxury of is working on the game plan, working on the system. We were lucky today that we had real good options, we had people back, we've gone into games in this run with no centre backs or no options off the bench for centre forwards, no midfielders some weeks. And I think people are kind of quick to forget that. So it's been really tough, but I just want to obviously put on the record, and I want the Derby fans to remember Paul has been the manager who got him promoted, not Paul obviously with his run of 7 defeats, which look, we've all been in football a long time. We all know if you lose a lot of games, it culminates in somebody losing the job. And unfortunately, 2 of my best mates have lost the job, but I know tonight when I ring them up, they'll be absolutely buzzing that we've got a positive result and the club can now move forward.
When did you find out yesterday that you'd be in charge today?
So we took the session, all of us, and then come back in, and then Paul and Richie got a phone call to go up to the chairman's and see him, with whoever were there. I honestly don't know who were there. We were meant to be leaving, and then we delayed the leaving time. The chief executive then come back in to inform me and Andy of what had happened and what they'd like to do moving forward. We discussed about obviously bringing Bradley and Jacob with myself and Andy. We then went in to speak to the players in the changing room. The chief exec spoke first, then I spoke, and then we travelled down and you know, I mean, he's my mate, but it sounds horrific and ruthless. It's a game of football, and we try and move on. And we woke up this morning trying to be positive. And to be fair, I think you saw that outside today. The enthusiasm, the character that we played with. I mean, I've not seen it yet, but apparently the offside goal wasn't offside. And I thought we limited them to very little, and I thought we had good opportunities to score. So I'm pleased with the point, but at this point we didn't get 3 from them.
I know you arrived as, and he used to call you Take That, didn't he?
I don't know which one I was, but
not Gary Barlow. I wanted to know, have you spoken to him since the news, and how is it?
Number of times, I spoke to him 6 or 7 times. It's tough to take. I think obviously his family, his relatives, his friends, and it sounds really bad, but we're at Norwich today, and I know how much this football club kind of means to him. So the decision was made. He's called me a number of times. I've called him. I spoke to him just before we left, and he wanted the players to be really positive. He sent a message today, which is the kind of bloke he is, about going out and winning the game and putting things behind you and don't worry about him, because that's selfless person he is. Sorry. Yeah. So the fact he obviously done that shows the character of the fella, and I know that when I go downstairs, because I don't have luxury looking at my phone yet, he'll probably be the first one who's messaged or rung me. So.
And where do you stand now, mate? Do you know how long you're in charge for?
Well, at the minute I sit behind this desk, and that's how football is. So I could get on the bus, I could get off the bus, I could be a Tuesday, Friday, I could be here all season, I could be here 10 years. Honestly, I don't know. But today isn't about me. Today's about the football club. It's about the positivity that hopefully that result gives the players and the confidence. And I've just spoken about it. It's been a tough run of games. I don't think the performances have been probably what the results have suggested. However, if you were being absolutely brutally honest, it's 7 defeats on the spin, and whoever you are, that I mean, Paul will be the first one to sit here and tell you that ain't good enough, and that is what it is, and like I say, it's what will be with me. I could be speaking to you tomorrow, Tuesday, Friday, I honestly don't know.
I was going to say, do you want to stay?
Yeah, I'd like to stay. The club's been amazing. I've really enjoyed my time here. It's been this couple of months has been really tough, for obviously a number of reasons. One really being that we probably haven't had the players available that we wanted. We haven't had the luxury of being able to train and work on things that we'd probably like to. We've been rolling players out and they've not been 100% right, and that's full credit to them in that changing room that they've kept doing that. And like I said, the fact that today I had really good options, and we'd had a really good week in training, I think will stand the squad, whether it's me Tuesday or another manager Tuesday, in good stead moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, I mean, when you come to assess it, I mean, you was dealt a full hand of fate really when you think of all the injuries and things. You've now got Ozo back, now got all your major players back, and obviously Simon Langas on Monday was very good today.
Yeah, well, like I mean, you've been lucky enough to be at every one of our games, and there's been games where we haven't had a centre half. I'm not sat here lying to you. That's been truth of it. We've had no fit available centre forwards. Jerry Yates was trying to play with a groin, and we didn't have Lars Salveson here. We've also played the top 3 out of the top 4 in this run. So look, excuses. It is what it is. Like football's. I always say it's the best and the worst game in the world, and yesterday was the worst, and today it's one of the best. So that's life. It's a real up and down roller coaster, but we're just trying to stay on an even keel, giving the lads the technical information. We made some subtle tactical changes today. We felt that with 10-15 minutes to go, we could release as wing backs a little bit higher, as 10s had a bit more freedom. Again, I had luxury of bringing Mark Sarnason and Kane Jackson, and like I said, we've had David also back. So yeah, a lot of positives to move forward with.
And just finally from me, just on Sondre Langas' performance today, I mean, to come from the Norwegian League and to produce that kind of performance, he was exceptional today.
Yeah, he's not bad, is he? He's going to have a top career, yeah. But again, that luxury of us being able to go in the transfer window and select a player that we were really, really desperate for, and to the point that we didn't want to take anybody else unless it was him, and I think that you'll see big things of him because he's only just done a pre-season. So today, isn't even him at his best, which is obviously really good for him and the club moving forward.
Can I just ask what anyone who's obviously applied for this job, if they watch that performance today, what they might think they'll be taking on? Because from my perspective, I don't see every week, it was a very compact, solid side with a lot of spirit and more than capable of getting out of the position they're in.
Yeah, I think exactly what you've just said, and I'll repeat what I said to the players after. I wish I could just inject them with a bit of confidence, which is obviously difficult when you've lost 7 games. So we've played well in some of them games. Look, we've not played well in a couple of them. I can't sit here and say everything's been rosy in the garden, because it hasn't been. But we feel like his level of performances have been really good. So whichever manager comes in is working with good players. He's got good options, and it's a top job anyway without having the players available that we've now got. So I'm sure there'll be a number of candidates who would want this position. And like I say, look, the club's been really, really good to me. It's been really, really good to all 4 of us. Hopefully, in some capacity, myself and Andy Warrington can stay. If that isn't, then look, I have no regrets. I won't say anything bad about the club. They've really looked after us. They've really done everything in the capabilities. And I honestly think probably the run of defeats we've been on, you'd see a lot of managers losing the job before they did. So they kind of might have left it as long as they have. I don't make them decisions, but for all reasons you've just said, it's difficult to take. But then it's football.
At this point, you don't know whether you're carrying on at this point. As you sit here now, you're not sure if you're taking the group for Tuesday's game.
No, at this point I am. However, that could change. So at this point, I've not been told yet. I could have a phone call downstairs, so I don't know. But at this point, I am. If that changes, it changes, and I'm 100% fine with that.
Was that Paul's game plan that was implemented?
Well, every game plan's all of us, so it's not one person. Paul's really good at allowing us to have our opinion, allowing us to put a stamp on. So myself, Richie, obviously Paul and Andy, like it's a cumulative decision. So we made obviously tactical changes during the game, which like I made off kind of in-game management, but no, the game plan was always to do that today, because we felt like we could frustrate Norwich, and I thought for large amounts we did.
Yeah.
So it's been really difficult 24 hours for yourself and the team as well. Can you just give us an insight into the team talk you gave to the players before the game?
I just spoke to them about believing in themselves, having more confidence on the ball. We've done a lot of work this week on the 10s, freeing up, and like Kenzo Goodmine and Mendes, and then again I had luxury of bringing Mark Sarnes on and Kane Jackson. But we felt that we could Norwich in those pockets of areas. So we've worked on that all week really. We felt that we could attack with 5, defend with 5, so you saw a lot more disciplined performance from Hozo and Ibu Adams. And we had the luxury of, with Langas's pace, we felt like we could take a little bit more risk with those two popping out and covering in 10s or 9s. So look, there were a lot of technical detail within that, but the lads have just had a real good week. And you know, like some weeks you go into it and you just had a sense that they felt fully prepared. So basically my team sort of just about reminding them how good they are. I mean, you're never in a false position, but I think we are at the same time. I believe that we have the capabilities to be a lot higher in this league, and I just reaffirm that with the players and give them a bit of I called it a controllable freedom, so that they knew exactly what they were doing, but they had the freedom to make decisions within that system.
I mean, it's also 7 defeats on the trot. I think no goals since Boxing Day as well. Could have been very easy to have given up in the second half and gone, oh, it's going to be one of those nights again.
Yeah, and I think that's full credit to players, but like, you know, I mean, obviously you probably know about Paul's track record. He does like good people, and I think you saw today why you have good people, because it would have been easy for some teams today to probably down tools, think what manager's gone, feel sorry for themselves, and they didn't, and that speaks volume of the group, and they should take massive confidence moving forward into this week's games, which is again massive for the football club. We've got a really big home game Tuesday night, one that we're well and truly capable of winning, but we've got to do everything right again.
I mean, it's been a whirlwind 24 hours, as we just said. Have you enjoyed the experience of the last
Do you know what? This sounds really, really weird. I loved it. I don't like it now. That sounds horrible. Not that I'm talking to you, by the way, but more the fact that now I probably have to think about myself. And when you're at football, you think about football, and I'm at my best when I'm thinking about football. So it could get tough from here. I don't know. I hope, honestly, that I'm thinking about football tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. But we all know how football is. So fingers crossed I am, and I hope that I am still at this football club. But if I'm not, as I've just said, I have no regrets. We've gone out with a bit of a positive result today, but moving forward, the club's in real good hands.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Nice one. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.